So what I did, I removed the oil from the chicken that was in the pan, and I got another pan instead of the iron skillet. 'Cause I don't know. I didn't like the way it was going. So I added the oil from the chicken, and they're all brown in the roasting pan. And you slowly add your flour. Now that's pretty hot. And depending how thin or how thick your gravy is, that's how much flour you add. Let me get a measure. So this is about a tablespoon of flour. Make sure that's dry. You let that brown. Until it's almost burnt. You want it to be dark, because if you don't let it brown, your gravy is going to be light. Now, a trick to adding color to your gravy. Do I have any more liquid aminos? This is a good flavor. And it's organic and liquid smoke. But you know what? I haven't found any organic liquid smoke. If you can't get your gravy to brown like you want it really dark, just put a few dabs of that liquid amino in there. And again, I got that from Walmart. It's organic soy sauce. And it tastes good with your gravies. It's a great marinade. And it's Bragg's. I buy both their vinegars and the liquid aminos. Now let me turn that around so we can see that. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more oil because I want it thicker. And I'm going to let that get hot. Once that oil gets hot, then I'll add more flour to it. So I'm going to turn that up. So if you can put it on a medium heat. And let that get really hot. Then I'm going to add more flour to it. And then I'll add water. Now, like I said, in part 1 and part 2, usually for my gravies, I would use cornstarch. And half, I got that recipe from Patti LaBelle's Diabetic Cookbook. But I didn't have any, so I said, you know what? I'll just go old school. And remember, you can always use the oil from that's left from frying your meats. That's the best oil, I'm telling you. The best oil. Because you know why? It has its seasonings already in it. And like I said, it may look different because I use all organic seasonings. And one of my seasonings is turmeric. Now, turmeric is for inflammation. And we just think it's a benefit that we can take the peel or we can kind of eat the actual root. But it's so good on food. And if you want more information or details about my seasonings, if you want me to make you a batch, inbox me and I'll ship it over. You just pay for the shipping. I'll ship it over for you. And if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, you hear the little kids movie in the background. That's my little one and my grandson watching the movie. So we're going to let that get really hot, and I'm going to add more flour to it. Why? Because that's going to be a little bit too thin, and I want it thick. And I want to be able to add my onions to give it that great flavor. So again, we are preparing smothered chicken. All your ingredients that you want to buy, organic, feel free to go to Walmart. Feel free to go to Aldi. I read this post because I'm here in Dallas, but I'm from Chicago. So there's a Facebook group that's called Shy in Dallas. You can only get on there if you are residing in Texas, DFW or Dallas, Texas, and you're from Chicago. It said only Chicagoans put an S on the end of Aldi and Jewel. So that is starting to bubble a little bit. And I want it nice and hot. I'm going to add more gravy. And like I said, sometimes if you can't get that gravy to brown like you want it to, if it's too late, add you some liquid aminos. It gives it a great flavor and a great color. So I'm going to put another tablespoon, and I'm using whole wheat flour. I'm going to put that in there. And this is just some random video I'm testing out still. It's called Restream.io. You're able to go live on all of your social media platforms that they have listed. Now, I thought they would have Instagram, but they don't. Maybe they'll add that later. But you see how dark it's getting? Because you want it so dark because I don't like light gravy. Living here in Texas, they love that country gravy. I'm not a fan of it. Just put it that way. Truly not a fan of that. So now I'm going to add my water. You know what, y'all? That might not be thick enough. I'm going to add more oil and more flour because I want it to saturate my chicken. So we're going to let that oil get really hot. We're going to add more flour. And for gravy, you just keep trying till you get it. I mean, my grandmother, when she used to make her gravy, it wasn't right. She would just start all over again. And I want mine to be nice and thick, not too thick, but I want to be nice and thick and brown. So therefore, it covers my chicken once it's ready to go in the oven. And then you can add your onions. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just toss my onions. I slice some onions. And just toss it all over the chicken. And like I said in part 1 and in part 2, we don't use aluminum foil. Now, sometimes to wrap up my food when I'm done, just the top of it or whatever, that's fine. But I don't cook in foil because I don't want that aluminum burning on my food. So we're going to add another teaspoon of this flour. We're going to let that brown. I think I'm going to add another one because it looks like it's going to be too thin. So the consistency is the key. You want to make sure that your gravy is not too light in color, and you want to make sure that it's not too light in density. You want it to be medium, not so thick. So this is what it looks like. Okay, hold on, guys. Just trying to give you a better angle. There we go. So it's getting darker. I'm going to turn it again. I want it really, really dark. And I may add more flour because it looks like it's going to be too thin. Adding my flour. There we go. Now it's pretty thick. There we go. Like my grandmother used to say, now we cooking with gas. Go have a seat, please. Thank you. Go watch your movie. So there we go. See how thick that is? Okay, so I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to add my water really slowly. So therefore, I can tell if I'm going to need more oil and flour. Wipe that up. And it's pretty thick. So you just keep adding your water. Slowly and turn down the fire. See that? And I can add more water, and I'm going to add some liquid aminos to it to give it some flavor and to make it darker because I don't like light dressing. And I actually can add more water because it's pretty thick. Because I want it to saturate my chicken. I just don't want it to dip the chicken in it. I want to saturate it. So let me add more water. And then some liquid aminos. And that completes our gravy. I'm gonna let it simmer down a bit. Pour over the chicken and put it in the oven on 375 for 45 minutes. And I think that's Hubby calling. So God bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the replay. I'm going to keep practicing on this restream until I get it right. Making sure that my camera is adjusted well so you guys can see. If you want more information, I'll put you to some seasonings together, organic seasonings, and ship them to you. You can always inbox me on Crystal High Yellow Banks Facebook page and Instagram, or you can email me at hiyellowllc@gmail.com. That's HIYELLALLC@gmail.com. I'm gonna pour this gravy over this chicken and put it in the oven. There we go. God bless you guys. Take care.